Hey guys, welcome back to the Mining Stacker YouTube channel where we cover all things crypto from the perspective of a miner. So today's video, just going to give you a quick little update on Gala Games. We're going to go over the updates real quick just to see what happened and why it has gone up 100% in the past 3 days. Right? So pretty big jump considering the current climate we're in. So we're going to go over that and go over the outlook, right? Talk about it a little bit. So if it sounds interesting, guys, stay tuned. So let's get to it, guys. So let's just look at what's happened, right? So let's go over time. We've been in this down rut just like everything else, right? Everything has been down in the dumps essentially. But when we shorten up this time frame, we can see this beautiful, beautiful chart we have going on here, right? Essentially, it's been in this 0.16, 0.17, 0.18 range. Then out of nowhere, starting on the 5th, it's just been going up and it spiked significantly on the 6th, right? Nice sideways action, and then another huge jump up. So we're going to go over why, right? And why this is a coin you should look at. Just a few other quick little things also. Even if this is not something you're interested in, this is the type of thing you want to keep your eye on though. So right now in the bear market, you're going to want to look at trends, look at coins, look at what's going up, right? Look at the things that are pumping and how much they pump, right? When you have a coin with a decent sized market cap going up 100% in 3 days in this climate, imagine what it can do in the bull market, right? So even if it's not something you're into, pay attention to these things, whether it's this, whether it's, any other coin. Look at those trends because those are the things you want to see when the bull market comes, right? You want to see what kind of news brought it up. Was it news? Is it just whales that were playing? What's going on, right? And even if you're not that interested in it, it's one to possibly trade with, right? Like I don't really day trade. That's not really my thing. What I do occasionally though is I do swing trade, right? So like for me, this is the coin that treated me well last bull market and it's a coin that I'm continuing to DCA into. So like right now with these news announcements, I do swing trade. So right now we're going to go over the news real quick, but I'm waiting for one more bit of news to come out. When that comes out sometime this week, I will probably dump a good amount of these coins, save that money and wait for it to dump again and reaccumulate more, right? So that's something I have been kind of doing over the past few months, something I've finally been getting more comfortable with, as that has been one of the hardest things to learn is to take profits, right? Not necessarily hard to learn, but hard to do, right? You get in this mindset that, oh, what if this happens? And essentially FOMOing, right? It's the fear of missing out always. So I would highly recommend that this is another reason why I kind of mentioned in that goals video to cut down the amount of coins you're into. So that way you can really stay focused on those communities, right? Because once you're in those communities, you see what's going on, you can see news trends that are coming. So once we got the first little bit of news a few days ago, I did buy a little bit more because it looked bullish, right? And then more good news came out. I didn't buy any more after that though. I did buy a little bit and it's gone up a good amount, right? On top of all that I've been DCAing the past little while. So that's why once it goes up one last little bit of news, I did sell some. I sold about 10% of my position now just in case it doesn't go up anymore. But I'm waiting for one more bit of news. And if we do have a decent sized pump, I'll probably sell like half of my bag. So even if in the next few months it doesn't go back down, I'll reinvest some of that money. So even with the earnings there, I'm going to invest it into another coin I'm more bullish on. I'll throw it into Flux. I'll buy BTC. I'll buy some more ETH. I'll buy whatever. But that way it gives you options, right? That has been, for me, the hardest thing to do is take profits, right? But again, that's one reason you want to look at these things, right? And especially that's the main reason you do want to narrow down those coins so you can see these things coming before they come, right? You can buy the rumor, sell the news, right? Essentially go down that route. So let's go over it real quick. So we see the price action here. We saw what happened. So all this news has been coming out on Discord. So again, this is why you want to limit the coins down so you can actually actively follow the certain coins you are into, right? If you're a person who doesn't really have a day job or who's able to be on the computer essentially all day, then you can be into a ton of coins, right? Because you actually be able to keep up. I love crypto and I listen to it a lot, so I tend to follow a ton of coins, but there's certain coins that I really follow. Gala being one of them, because it does swing a lot. The price fluctuates a ton. It does tend to dump really hard also. So we're having this crazy pump, but also typically it does tend to pump really hard. So that's the reason why you want to keep your eye on those coins. Whatever you're into, follow it. That way you start seeing these price trends, right? Another one I've been doing that is with Flux, right? That's another one because of the high sell pressure, because all these miners mining at a loss. Whenever the few times we have gotten these pumps, it's dumped almost instantaneously. So like that last little bump we had where it went up to 72 cents out of nowhere, I sold a good chunk at 60, 65. I didn't hit the 72, but I sold a good amount at that amount. And then once it back down to 40 something cents, I used that same money and just rebought to have more tokens. So again, like I mentioned also in that crypto goals video, I'm all about accumulation. So again, I don't day trade, right? But I do swing trade based off of news. Because to me, that's another big thing I learned, is that that is one of the biggest things, right? Whenever we see these news things, something bullish happening, people FOMO in like crazy. So I'm not saying to like jump into these things now. Like for you to buy right now wouldn't be the smartest move, because it's probably going to dump here in the next few days. After we get the official announcement, which I'll get to here in a second, chances are within a day or two after, it's going to start dumping. A lot of people are going to be taking profits because there's a lot of profits to be had, right? So let's go over the news real quick. Started here on the 4th. This is in their global announcements on their Discord, which is where all this information's been coming out, right? So again, if you're active in that community, you've been seeing these things, and it's been like good news to you, right? So it started out from Benefactor on the global announcements section. We've said this before, but it's worth saying it very publicly. I think Gala will be the gas token of our Layer 1 blockchain. Name chosen, but not yet to be revealed. So this, if you're not familiar, if you haven't participated in the ecosystem, they're talking about Project Geary, which if you're into spider tanks, if you've played around with it, you mess with it, it's already live on there, right? So that's not necessarily in testnet phase, but that's kind of what it is. It went live. We've been using it. I've had no issues with it. It's fairly quick. It's a proof of stake. It's centralized, yes, but for something like this, that's kind of how it's going to be, right? So Project Geary is like the temporary name. It's going to get named, rebranded, and this is what they're talking about. So the plan is to burn 50% of the gas and remint the remainder to the founder nodes and potentially partners who join the ecosystem. The goal is to make the Gala ecosystem deflationary. So this was huge news because that's been one of the biggest complaints with Gala, is the tokenomics are horrible because of the inflation, right? Every single day, a ton of tokens get dumped on. So they do have a halving for the founders nodes. It's once a year. So there will be, two more prior to the Bitcoin halving. But overall, the inflation rate is extremely high. So them changing the tokenomics, that's going to make people bullish, right? So let's look at the next update they gave the very next day. How about some more news? With the new rules at Apple allowing NFTs in games on the App Store, we've decided to establish 2 new game studios. One dedicated to mobile casual games and one dedicated to mobile mid-hardcore games. 2023 is going to be the year we make progress on mobile blockchain games. So this is a big one that I harped on in that Spider Tanks video. To me, the key to mass adoption with that game is to put it on mobile, right? And it looks like this is what they're gearing towards. This is what they're working at. And to me, that's going to make it huge, right? That is where you're going to get a ton of people entering the ecosystem. The problem with a game like that with graphics, although yes, it's fun, and yes, I do play it, even though the tokenomics aren't great, right? Like it's not going to be one of those games where you're going to be making money off of it, or a ton of money. You are making some, not enough to the point where like, yeah, let me invest in it so I can make money off of it. But if it's a game you're into, could be earning tokens as you're playing it, if it's fun to you. Like for me, I actually enjoy playing the game. I play it in between when I'm playing like rounds of like Call of Duty and stuff like that. So it is a game I mess around with. If you haven't played it, I would check it out just to see what's going on. But yeah, that was one of my big complaints, and looks like they're going there. So there's more news regarding this, right? So then on the same day, way later on though, he gave another clue. We just bought a mobile game studio with over 20 million users. We aren't fucking around, guys. Big news, okay? And again, to me, this was going to be a big focus for them because if you're unfamiliar, it's founded by one of the co-founders of Zynga, which was a huge, huge mobile game guy, right? So think of, for those of you guys who are a little on the older side, back in like the initial Facebook gaming, like Farmville. I don't know if you remember how annoying all those stupid ass games were, but they were addictive, right? So that's pretty bullish, right? They haven't announced which one yet. Again, that's the tidbit of news I'm waiting for to see for them to make the official announcement. So that way that news is going to spread all over the media sites. It'll be on websites, so it's going to bring even more bullish action, in my opinion. Now, financial advice. Also want to throw that in there. None of this is financial advice. This is just stuff I'm looking at. So let's continue on. So we are now in the middle of evaluating 15 mobile games that we own, right? And this is from that purchase. We have 2 high priority targets and have already moved people onto the task of bringing these games onto our blockchain. So that is huge, right? So with the purchase of this, that is now going to onboard these 20 million users to this blockchain, which is huge. I mean, this is a big part of the transition we're going to see from Web 2 to Web 3, especially if it's a seamless transition, which hopefully they're going to work on making that interface easy for anybody to just download the mobile app, create the account, set up an easy wallet, and be able to own your NFTs and have a marketplace. That's going to be huge for the mobile market, right? And that's, to me, that's the big key to adoption, is to get people to realize and get them on the blockchain without realizing that it's a blockchain game. That, to me, once they figure that part out, which to me this is going to be a big key, it's going to lead to a crazy, crazy adoption, right? And this is the whole Web 2 to Web 3 graph that people have been trying to bridge, right? So let's continue on. Spider Tanks and Townstar are definitely helping us plan their tokenomics and NFT integration, but I can share that we are planning on giving all the existing users replacements to their current non-transferable assets on Geary, making them all newly minted owners of digital assets on our blockchain. Should hopefully be a nice influx of new users onto our blockchain, which should also mean our gas Gala usage goes up, right? So again, from the onboarding of all these people, playing all these little random games, which attracts a ton of people. Even people who aren't gaming people play these little games. Good examples like my wife. Me and my son, we have a Switch, a PS5, PS4, Xbox. She's not into it at all, not even remotely, but she loves these little damn mobile games, right? She's always on this one that's fucking random ass little game, but she's on that thing, right? So it attracts a lot of casuals, people who are playing, people who, who have that, few minutes of free time on their phone. It attracts that crowd. So it's a huge, huge deal. So let's go in a little bit more. So another big thing, Bitbender is hard selling me on the idea that we take all sales denominated in Gala and burn it. I'm hesitant to agree to this idea, but I want to get more opinions on this matter. He's thinking that 100% of the purchase price would be burnt. We benefit from a tax deduction. The ecosystem becomes more deflationary, right? So again, this is something we're alluding to before as far as the tokenomics being changed, which is what's going to happen here, right? So imagine the biggest complaint with this thing being it's so inflationary if it starts becoming deflationary, right? It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to be something that happens with the flip of a switch, but it is a step in the right direction, right? So now let's keep going. So another update on the 6th. So many things, too little time to share them, but this is an important one. I keep mentioning we have a blockchain, but I keep getting asked, when is it going live? It's live right now. And that's what we're talking about with Spider Tanks, for those of you guys who have been on it. In fact, it's been used by our players since May of 22, and it's been being used in a full production capacity since Spider Tanks launched. We've clocked 1,000 transactions per second with the ability to easily scale to a lot more, 10x or 100x more than that. Just in the past month alone, we have had over 23 million transactions related to Spider Tanks. Townstar is currently being added to the chain, and we have several more games and projects being worked on. Also, we have begun planning releasing the chain to the public and are planning a hackathon with cool prizes. Dates and details will be coming soon. The team working on this, like all of our teams, is absolutely incredible, and hats off to them for building something so awesome. So some more news, more good news for our Spider Tank fans. Just 5 minutes ago, approved $1 million ad buy to go into effect immediately. Should start seeing our ads in YouTube, right? So then even more news. So this is again on the 6th. Okay, one last post for today. A lot of people are asking for more information about our mobile acquisition. Here are some stats to share. Number one, total revenue in excess of 100 million USD. A lot of money. Number two, 20 million users. Okay, that's how many people are going to get onboarded to this chain, which is huge. Even if just a fraction of those guys get onboarded, that's huge, right? Number three, 15 mobile games ready to convert to our blockchain. Number four, multiple games currently live on the App Store. Number five, targeting multiple demographics, moms to dragons to casino. Our games portfolio, 53. More news and details coming next week, right? So big news. We're going to go over this last post from today. I'm seeing a lot of questions around our mobile strategy. Our recent acquisition is a massive leap forward in terms of being able to test and explore various genres and tactics in the space. Is it too much to say we saved the equivalent of 15 years of development? Perhaps I'm pushing a little bit, but not by much. If I ask the team to build 15 complete mobile games, that might take 9 to 12 months per game, right? So this is one big benefit, is that these games are ready to go. They're just going to transition them onto the blockchain so they can get, whatever little rewards or little skins or whatever are going to become NFTs, and people are going to have a marketplace, right? And that's a big thing. That's a cool factor for all these people. But the key piece here, in my view, is digital ownership. All these games have digital items of varying types. The plan is to put them onto Yuri, our blockchain. As soon as that happens, we may have the most used blockchain, period. The next very interesting aspect here is when the millions of users who have played these games start burning Gala for gas. So this is another big reason why it's been going up so much. The liquidity of Gala will be tested by the users consuming gas. We will share some of our analysis of the gas burning at scale next week. But given the scale of the mobile space and the current price of the token, with 53 games using Gala for gas, anywhere from 6 to 35% of the total supply could be burned per year. Of course, the underlying token economics will change the usage at the scale and likely result in less percentage of total supply being burnt. But from the outset, it appears mobile plus Gary equals goodness. So of course, on top of all this, we will be employing the usual mobile sales strategy, but with a crypto twist that will focus on ecosystem health and stability. An example of that might be a free giveaway to the entire user base and a merge mechanism that consumes a small amount of gas. You get the idea, I hope. So like airdrops, essentially. This is a new frontier for Web3 gaming, and honestly, I'm shocked we are here so quickly. And this is because of this acquisition, right? Especially, again, mobile games. It's going to onboard so many freaking people, not just here in the US, but think other countries, especially like Asia, Africa, a lot of where mobile is huge, India. It's going to onboard a ridiculous amount of people, right? So, but please doesn't even come close to how happy I am that our pivot to mobile is happening so quickly. I hope this answers some questions, and I'll be in the Discord reading and answering questions. So again, this is the big thing, and this is what they've been focusing on, right? And this is a big thing that people aren't getting with NFT games or metaverse games or Web3 games, however you want to word it. It's just the big thing is going to be digital ownership. Just being able to own your little character, and being able to own your skins, and having a marketplace to sell them. Even if they don't put in these type of tokenomics where it's a crazy economy where, yeah, I'm going to sit there and play 10 hours a day and I'm going to make more than my job, that's not going to happen here. The big thing they're going to be pushing is just digital ownership and having assets that you can sell, right? Because it's weird how it works, because it does kind of get you more in the game, right? Like I'm referencing Spider Tanks because that's what I'm familiar with. I have purchased quite a few, and it is kind of cool to be able to say, this is my tank. I customize this tank. I'm upgrading it a certain way. So you're playing in order to upgrade it, right? Kind of gives you a little weird incentive if you choose to participate. Obviously, everybody's different. Some people aren't going to want to do that, but it is just something neat. But again, the big news overall, though, is just mobile gaming. They're getting this. They bought this team. It's going to onboard all these people. It's yet to be determined what games they got, who the studio was, but we're going to find out hopefully sometime this week. And I believe we may be getting another pump. Again, not financial advice. We may just start dumping instead because it's already been a crazy jump. But I'm holding out a little bit more for this news, and I will probably be dumping a good amount of tokens, right? With the anticipation of rebuying them back in the near future if it does dump, which typically that's kind of what Gala does, again, if you follow the token. So again, guys, just wanted to give you a quick update, even if it's something you're not into, hopefully to give you some different views, right? Even if you're not into Gala, if you're into whatever niche you're into, again, start focusing on specific niches, whether it's this, whether it's helium, whether it's anything, whatever it is, start focusing on that, getting into that ecosystem and learn about it, right? Look for these news things. Like as soon as you start seeing some bullish news and the price is still good, look into it. Because yes, it is the bear market. But again, the benefit with these alts is that there will be times where they go up and they go down. Okay, even with Bitcoin, like everybody looks at the charts, we look at the yearly charts. Being zoomed out, it just looks like it's a straight line down. But when you really take time and zoom in, you will see all these fluctuations, 15, 20% up and down, right? So you can take advantage of this. My overall sentiment is that this year is going to be a lot of sideways action. We're going to have these bumps, right? My goal, I'm going to try to take advantage of them, right? In order to accumulate more. So the goal here is if it does go up again, I will try to sell with the anticipation of hanging on to that USD, waiting maybe a few days or a few weeks for it to go back down to a certain range just to accumulate more, right? So far, I've been deploying that tactic with like Caspa, been fairly successful there. I just purchased another good amount after selling a while back. And I'm going to do that with certain coins, not everything. Certain ones I'm just kind of leaving there, especially the ones I'm staking. Like all my Flux is staying there. I do have a little bag to mess around with, right? I'm expecting the possibility of another pump with the halving coming, but it may or may not happen. We shall see. But again, just keep your eyes open. Learn different things, guys. Expand those horizons, all right? So hopefully you got something out of the video, guys. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, guys, and I am out.